Today, we're going to dive into the world of habits and explore what makes them such an important part of our lives. So let's start with the basics. What is a habit? A habit can be defined as any routine behavior that you do regularly, almost without thinking about it. Think about brushing your teeth every morning or checking your phone right when you wake up. Those are examples of habits. Now, why are habits so powerful? Well, they save us energy and time by automating certain behaviors. This allows our brains to focus on more important tasks rather than constantly making decisions about everyday routines. But here's the kicker. While some habits can be beneficial, others might hold you back from achieving your goals. So how do we form these habits in the first place? There are three key elements that make up a habit loop: cue, routine, and reward. The cue is what triggers the behavior, like feeling hungry, which cues eating. Then, there's the routine or action itself, grabbing something to eat. And finally, the reward reinforces the behavior, so you're more likely to repeat it in the future. Let me give you an example of this habit loop in action. You feel tired, cue, so you grab a cup of coffee, routine, and that caffeine boost makes you feel alert again, reward. Over time, your brain links those feelings together, making the behavior automatic. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Once a habit is formed, changing it can be tough because our brains are wired to crave the reward associated with the routine. But don't worry, by understanding this process, you can break old habits and create new ones that better serve your goals. So how do we change habits? The first step is to identify what triggers the behavior you want to change. Then, try substituting a healthier alternative for the routine part of the habit loop while keeping the reward similar. For instance, if you're trying to quit smoking but miss the hand-to-mouth action, you might chew gum instead. All right, so let's recap. Habits are automatic behaviors that can either help or hinder our progress towards goals. They follow a cue routine reward pattern, and once formed, can be tough to break. But by understanding this loop, we can replace old habits with healthier new ones. So now you know the basics of how habits work. Go out there and start making changes for the better. All right, everyone, let's dive into today's topic: the importance of small changes for big impact. Imagine you're standing at the edge of a lake and you drop one tiny pebble in. At first, it seems like nothing happens, but then you notice small ripples spreading outwards. Little by little, those ripples grow until they affect the entire surface of the water. Just like that pebble creates big waves in the lake, making small changes can lead to significant impacts in our lives and communities. Now let's look at some examples from history where small actions led to huge transformations. Think about Rosa Parks refusing to give up her seat on a bus back in 1955. That single act sparked the Montgomery bus boycott, which became a pivotal moment in the American civil rights movement. Or take Marie Curie discovering radium and polonium in her laboratory. Her meticulous work laid the foundation for nuclear physics, changing our understanding of atomic structures forever. So how can we apply this concept to our everyday lives? Start by looking at areas where small adjustments could lead to big improvements. For instance, if you're aiming to eat healthier, instead of completely overhauling your diet right away, try making one simple swap, like replacing soda with water. Or if you want to build a stronger network professionally, commit to sending out just one LinkedIn connection request each week. Remember that small changes often lead to big results because they create momentum and encourage us to keep going. They're easier to maintain than drastic shifts, which can be overwhelming or unsustainable over time. Plus, these minor tweaks are less intimidating and more likely to stick as habits. Let's also consider how small actions can have a ripple effect on those around us. For example, taking the time to listen attentively when someone is speaking can make them feel valued and respected. This could lead to stronger relationships or even inspire others to do the same in their interactions. As we wrap up today's lesson, remember that it's these little steps that often create significant changes over time. Whether it's personal growth, community impact, or global transformation, small actions matter greatly. So start making those incremental improvements and watch how they can lead to big impacts in your life and beyond. Thank you for joining me today as we explored the power of small changes to make a big difference. Today, we're diving into the world of cognitive psychology and how it relates to building habits that stick. So let's get started by understanding what cognitive psychology really is. Cognitive psychology focuses on mental processes like thinking, memory, problem solving, and perception. It helps us understand how our minds work and why certain behaviors become habitual. Now, when we talk about habit building, we're talking about making these actions automatic through repetition and reinforcement. Think of it as training your brain to perform certain tasks without much effort. For example, brushing your teeth every morning becomes a routine after some time because you've repeated the action over and over again. But here's where cognitive psychology comes in. By understanding how our minds work, we can create more effective strategies for building habits that last. For instance, setting clear goals and breaking them down into smaller tasks makes it easier to stick with them consistently. This is known as the SMART goal framework: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound. Another key concept in cognitive psychology is the idea of self-efficacy, believing in your own ability to succeed. When you have confidence in yourself and your abilities, you're more likely to stick with a habit even when it gets tough. So building up that belief can really help solidify new habits. Also important is understanding triggers and cues. These are signals that prompt us to perform certain actions automatically. For example, leaving running shoes by the door might trigger someone to go for a morning jog. By identifying and setting up these cues effectively, we make it easier to form lasting habits. Lastly, don't forget about accountability and tracking progress. Keeping a journal or using apps can help you stay on track with your habit-building journey. Sharing goals with friends or family also adds an extra layer of motivation and support. So there you have it. By applying cognitive psychology principles like setting SMART goals, boosting self-efficacy, identifying triggers, and staying accountable, we can create strong habits that stick around for the long haul. All right, let's dive into today's topic about behavioral psychology and how it helps us change habits. Imagine you're trying to break a bad habit or form a new one, like quitting smoking or starting an exercise routine. Behavioral psychology offers tools that can make this process easier. First off, we should understand the basics of behavioral psychology. It focuses on observable behaviors and how they are influenced by our environment and experiences. So when it comes to changing habits, we're looking at things we do regularly and trying to modify them based on what we know about behavior. A key concept here is reinforcement, which is all about rewarding or punishing actions to increase or decrease the likelihood of those actions happening again. For example, if you want to start exercising more often, you might reward yourself with something you enjoy after a workout session. This positive reinforcement can strengthen the habit over time. Another important aspect is called shaping, where we gradually modify behaviors by reinforcing closer approximations to the desired behavior. So, instead of going from zero exercise to running 5 miles right away, you start small and build up slowly. Each step becomes its own reward along the way. Let's talk about another technique: extinction. This involves removing reinforcement for a certain behavior so it no longer occurs as often. For example, if you're trying to quit snacking on junk food, cutting back on those snacks can lead to less craving over time because there's less positive reinforcement from eating them. Now, let's look at the role of environment in changing habits. The context we're in plays a big part in what behaviors come naturally. If your workspace is set up for distractions, it might be harder to focus on work tasks. But if you arrange your space to minimize interruptions and promote productivity, staying focused becomes easier. Lastly, let's not forget about social support. Having people around who encourage positive changes can make a huge difference in sticking with new habits. Whether it's friends, family, or colleagues, their support can provide the motivation needed to keep going when things get tough. So there you have it. By understanding reinforcement, shaping, extinction, and how our environment influences behavior, we can use behavioral psychology principles to change our habits effectively. Remember, changing habits isn't always easy, but with patience and persistence, you can achieve your goals. All right, everyone, let's dive into today's lesson about neural pathways and how they play a role in forming habits. Imagine your brain is like a garden with lots of paths connecting different areas together. When you do something repeatedly, it's like walking the same path over and over until it becomes well-trodden. Now, let's talk about what happens when we create a habit. Every time you perform an action, neurons in your brain send signals to each other through these pathways. At first, the pathway might be a bit rough and bumpy, but with repetition, it smooths out and gets easier to travel along. This is how habits are formed, by strengthening those neural connections. For example, if you decide to exercise every morning, at first it feels like a struggle because your brain hasn't made that path yet. But as you keep going, the neurons involved in planning, executing, and rewarding that action form stronger bonds. Soon enough, exercising becomes automatic and even enjoyable because your brain has developed an efficient neural pathway for it. It's important to understand this process because once we recognize how habits are formed, we can use this knowledge to our advantage. By focusing on repetition and consistency, we can build high-ticket skills or break bad habits by weakening existing pathways through new actions and behaviors. Now you might be wondering, what happens if I stop doing something that was a habit? Well, those neural pathways don't just disappear overnight. They become dormant, but are still there waiting to reactivate if the action is repeated again. This explains why it's easier to pick up an old habit than to form a new one from scratch. So next time you're working on developing a new routine or trying to break a bad habit, remember that your brain is laying down neural pathways every step of the way. With patience and persistence, those pathways will grow stronger and smoother until what once felt challenging becomes second nature. That's it for today's lesson on how neural pathways contribute to creating habits. I hope this gives you some insight into why certain behaviors stick around while others fade away. Today, we're diving into the world of dopamine and reward systems. Imagine your brain is like a factory that produces dopamine. This chemical makes you feel good when something rewarding happens. It's kind of like getting a gold star sticker for doing great work in school. So how does this dopamine get released? Well, it all starts with neurons communicating through synapses. When we experience something enjoyable or satisfying, these neurons send signals to each other and release dopamine into the synaptic gap. Think of it as passing notes back and forth between classmates, but instead of notes, they're sending little packets of happiness. Now, let's talk about why this is important. Dopamine isn't just for fun times, though. It plays a key role in motivation and learning, too. When you achieve something or learn new information, dopamine helps reinforce that behavior, so you're more likely to do it again in the future. It's like training wheels for your brain, helping you pedal towards success. But there's also this nitty-gritty detail about how much dopamine is released depending on what's happening. High-ticket rewards release more dopamine than low ones, which explains why we get so excited about big achievements or surprises compared to smaller day-to-day victories. So next time you feel that rush of excitement, whether it's getting a promotion at work, winning a game, or even eating your favorite dessert, remember it's not just the event itself making you happy. It's actually dopamine doing its job in your brain, rewarding you for experiencing something pleasurable and motivating you to keep seeking out those good feelings. In conclusion, understanding how dopamine release works can help us appreciate why we enjoy certain activities and behaviors, while also providing insight into ways we can boost our motivation and happiness through positive reinforcement. All right, everyone, let's dive into how you can set up your physical space for success. First off, think about where you spend most of your time. Could it be your office desk or even your bedroom? No matter where it is, making sure that space feels inviting and productive will go a long way. Start by decluttering. Get rid of anything that doesn't serve its purpose anymore. This isn't just about keeping things tidy, it's also about reducing distractions so you can focus better on the task at hand. Once your space is cleared out, organize everything in a way that makes sense to you and keeps similar items together. Next up, lighting matters big time. Natural light is ideal if possible. It boosts mood and productivity. If there isn't enough natural light, consider adding some lamps or overhead lights to create the right ambience for work. And don't forget about color. Warmer tones can make a space feel cozy, while cooler hues might help with concentration. Now let's talk about your desk setup. Position yourself so that you're facing the door but not directly in line with it. This gives you a sense of control and awareness. Make sure everything you need regularly is within easy reach, like pens, papers, or your computer mouse. And speaking of computers, position them correctly to avoid strain on your neck and eyes. Lastly, personalize your space. A few plants can add freshness while also improving air quality. Posters or motivational quotes can inspire and keep you focused throughout the day. Music is another great way to enhance productivity. Just make sure it's not too distracting. In conclusion, setting up a physical space that works for you involves decluttering, organizing, lighting well, positioning your desk thoughtfully, and personalizing with touches that motivate you. It might seem like small changes, but they can have a big impact on how productive and happy you feel in your work environment. All right, everyone. Welcome back to our session on building resilience through social support networks. Today, we're diving into the nitty-gritty of how these connections can act like a safety net for us when times get tough. So let's kick things off with a quick example. Imagine you've just lost your high-ticket job and are feeling pretty down about it. It's then that a friend calls, offering to help you network, or even inviting you over for dinner just so you're not alone. That kind of support can make all the difference in how quickly you bounce back from setbacks. So what exactly is social support? Social support networks are essentially the web of relationships we have with family, friends, colleagues, and community members. These connections form a critical part of our resilience toolkit. When life throws us curveballs, these people act as buffers against stress and help maintain our mental health. Now let's break it down into types. Emotional support is when someone listens to your troubles or offers words of encouragement. Instrumental support might come in the form of tangible assistance, like helping you move or lending a hand with chores. Informational support involves providing advice, resources, or guidance, like recommending a therapist or suggesting an online course. Lastly, companionship simply means spending quality time together, which boosts morale and provides enjoyment. So how do we build these networks to ensure they're there when we need them? Start by nurturing existing relationships. Make it a point to check in regularly with friends and family members. Be willing to offer help to others as well, because reciprocity strengthens bonds. Join clubs or groups that align with your interests to meet like-minded people. Volunteering is another great way to connect while giving back. Remember, maintaining social support isn't just about receiving assistance, it's also about being there for others. When you're supportive and dependable, others are more likely to reciprocate in tough times. And don't forget the power of digital communication. Even a quick text or video call can make someone feel valued and supported. Now let's talk about how to access these networks effectively. Be clear about what you need, whether it's emotional support, advice, or practical help, and ask directly, but politely. Also, be mindful that not everyone may be able to offer the same level of assistance due to their own circumstances. So while one friend might not have spare time to help move furniture, another could recommend a reliable moving service. In conclusion, social support networks are vital for resilience and overall well-being. By investing in these relationships and being willing to both give and receive support, we can build robust connections that act as buffers against life's challenges. So go ahead, reach out to someone. Today chances are they'll appreciate it too. Today, we're diving into something really important for your personal development: SMART goals for habit formation. Let's start by understanding what a SMART goal is. It stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. These 5 elements help you create goals that are clear and achievable. First up, let's talk about making these goals specific. Instead of saying I want to be healthier, which is broad, try something like I will exercise 3 times a week for 30 minutes each session. That gives you a concrete target to work towards. Next comes measurability. You need to know when you've achieved your goal and track your progress. So in our example of exercising more, we can easily count the number of workouts completed each week. Now, let's look at achievability. Can this goal realistically be reached with some effort? If you're starting from zero, maybe aim for 1 workout a week to begin with and gradually increase as your fitness improves. Relevance is about ensuring that your goal aligns with what you want overall. Is becoming fitter important to you personally or professionally? If so, then this goal fits well into your life plans. Finally, time-bound goals have a deadline which helps keep you motivated. Saying I will exercise 3 times a week for 30 minutes, each session by the end of June gives you a clear time frame and something to aim for. When forming habits using SMART goals, start small but be consistent. It's about making gradual changes that stick over time instead of trying to overhaul everything at once. Remember, it takes about 21 days to form a new habit, so give yourself plenty of time to embed your goal into daily life naturally and comfortably. So there, you have it, using SMART goals to form lasting habits effectively. By setting clear, achievable targets with a deadline, you'll find it much easier to build those healthy routines that last over the long term. Thank you for joining me today. Let's put these principles into action and make positive changes happen. So let's dive into today's topic: incremental progression towards larger goals. Imagine you're on a journey to climb Mount Everest. It wouldn't make sense to try and conquer that peak in one big leap, right? Instead, you'd take small steps every day, building up your strength and endurance until finally reaching the summit. That's exactly how we approach our goals. When setting out for something big, start by breaking your goal into smaller chunks. These are your milestones. Each milestone brings you closer to that larger achievement, giving you a sense of progress along the way. For example, if your ultimate goal is to launch a successful business venture, perhaps one milestone could be developing a solid business plan, another securing initial funding, and yet another gaining traction with early customers. Now here's where things get really interesting. Each step forward should build on what came before it. It's like laying bricks for a wall. You need to make sure each new brick is securely in place before adding the next one. This way, your progress becomes more stable and sustainable over time. When tackling those smaller goals, focus not just on completing them, but also on learning from every step of the process. Another key point is celebrating these small victories as they happen. It's easy to overlook minor achievements, but recognizing them can boost motivation and keep you moving forward. Think about it this way: if you're running a marathon, crossing each mile marker feels like a win and gives you that extra push towards finishing strong. So remember, incremental progression isn't just about breaking big goals into small pieces. It's also about making sure those smaller achievements are meaningful steps along the path to your ultimate goal. By doing so, you create momentum, which helps propel you forward even when things get tough. In conclusion, achieving larger goals is often a marathon rather than a sprint. Embrace the journey by setting achievable milestones, building on each success, and celebrating progress as it happens. This approach not only makes big dreams feel more manageable, but also enriches your experience along the way. All right, everyone, let's talk about some common pitfalls you might encounter and how to avoid them. So picture this: you're working hard on a project and suddenly hit a bump in the road. It happens to all of us at one time or another. But don't worry, we can learn from these bumps and even turn them into opportunities for growth. First off, let's talk about not planning enough. A lot of people rush into projects without laying out clear goals and steps. This is like starting a race without knowing the finish line. To avoid this pitfall, take some time to map out your plan. Break down your project into smaller tasks and set achievable deadlines for each one. Next up, let's discuss not asking for help when you need it. It's easy to feel like you should handle everything on your own, but that can lead to stress and burnout. Remember, teamwork makes the dream work. So don't hesitate to reach out to colleagues or mentors who can offer support and guidance. Another common pitfall is not learning from feedback. When someone gives you constructive criticism, it's easy to feel defensive. But instead of seeing it as a setback, view it as an opportunity to improve. Embrace the feedback, reflect on what you've learned, and apply those lessons going forward. Lastly, don't forget about time management. It's tempting to procrastinate or get distracted by shiny objects, but staying focused is key. Set aside dedicated work times and prioritize your tasks based on their importance and urgency. So there you have it, planning ahead, seeking support when needed, learning from feedback, and managing your time effectively are all great ways to avoid common pitfalls. By addressing these areas, you can stay on track and achieve success in your projects. Remember, perfection is not the goal here, growth is. So keep pushing forward, learn from any setbacks, and don't forget to celebrate your progress along the way. All right, everyone, welcome back. Today, we're diving into an incredibly important topic that can help us all stay motivated long-term. Techniques for staying motivated long-term. Now, let's face it, motivation isn't always easy to come by, especially when you've been working towards a goal for a while and the excitement starts to wear off. But fear not, because we're going to look at some proven strategies that can help keep your drive alive. First up, setting clear goals is key. When you know exactly what you want to achieve, it gives you direction and purpose. Break those big goals into smaller milestones so you can celebrate progress along the way. It's like climbing a mountain. Every step up brings you closer to reaching that summit. Next, surround yourself with positivity. Spend time with people who inspire you and support your ambitions. A positive mindset goes a long way in maintaining motivation. Also, don't forget to inject some fun into your routine. Whether it's listening to music while you work or rewarding yourself with something enjoyable after hitting a milestone, these little pleasures can keep you motivated. Another biggie is self-care. Taking care of your physical and mental health helps maintain the energy needed for long-term motivation. Make sure you're getting enough sleep, eating well, and exercising regularly. Also, don't hesitate to take breaks when needed. Sometimes stepping away gives you a fresh perspective. Now, let's talk about staying curious. Keep learning and exploring new ideas related to your goals. Curiosity keeps the mind engaged and excited about possibilities. It's like fuel for motivation. The more you feed it, the stronger it burns. Lastly, remember to embrace failure as part of the journey. Don't see setbacks as roadblocks, but rather as opportunities to grow and improve. Every mistake is a step closer to success when viewed this way. To wrap things up, staying motivated long-term involves setting clear goals, surrounding yourself with positivity, practicing self-care, nurturing curiosity, and viewing failures as learning experiences. By integrating these techniques into your daily life, you'll find that maintaining motivation becomes much easier and more sustainable over time. All right, let's dive into today's topic, establishing effective daily routines. When you think about it, our daily routines are like the backbone of how we manage our time and productivity each day. Just imagine your morning getting started smoothly with everything ticking off one by one. That's what a well-planned routine can do for you. Now let's break this down step by step. First things first, define your goals. What do you want to achieve every single day? Maybe it's finishing work tasks, spending quality time with family, or even just squeezing in some exercise. Once you know what your priorities are, you can tailor your routine around those objectives. Next up is setting a schedule that works for you. This means allocating specific times for each task based on when you're most productive. For example, if you're a morning person, maybe tackle high-ticket items early on. But remember to also include some buffer time for unexpected interruptions or emergencies. Another key aspect is making sure your routine includes breaks. It's not all about work. Rest and recovery are vital too. So schedule in those short breaks throughout the day and longer ones at regular intervals to recharge. Also, don't forget about flexibility. Life throws curveballs our way sometimes, so having a bit of wiggle room in your routine can help you stay on track without getting stressed out when things change suddenly. Lastly, consistency is key here. Stick to your routines as much as possible. Over time, this will become second nature and you'll find yourself naturally flowing through each task with ease. So there you have it. Define your goals, set a realistic schedule, include breaks, stay flexible, and maintain consistency. By following these steps, you can create an effective daily routine that not only boosts productivity, but also improves overall well-being. That's all for today. Let me know if you have any questions or need further assistance in setting up your own personalized routines. All right, everyone, let's dive into crafting personal rituals for success. Now, what exactly is a personal ritual? Well, it's something you do consistently to create positive habits or routines that enhance your life and productivity. It could be anything from starting your day with meditation, journaling, exercising, or even drinking a cup of tea. To begin crafting these rituals, start by identifying areas in your life where you want improvement or feel stuck. Maybe it's boosting creativity, reducing stress, improving focus, or achieving specific goals like finishing that novel or learning a new language. Once you've pinpointed the area, think about what actions could help address those needs. For example, if you're looking to boost creativity, consider starting your mornings with a walk in nature or listening to music that inspires you. If stress reduction is your goal, perhaps incorporating yoga or mindful breathing exercises would be beneficial. The key here is consistency and making these activities enjoyable so they become habits rather than chores. Now let's talk about how to make these rituals stick. Start small and manageable. Don't overwhelm yourself with a huge list of tasks. For instance, instead of committing to meditating for an hour every day right off the bat, start with just 5 minutes. As you get comfortable with that routine, gradually increase the time. Another important aspect is setting aside dedicated times for your rituals. Consistency is crucial here. Whether it's first thing in the morning or before bed, designate specific moments to engage in your personal rituals. This helps ingrain them into your daily life seamlessly. Remember, these rituals are about you, what feels right and beneficial to you personally. So don't be afraid to tailor them as needed. For example, if early mornings aren't your thing but you find late-night hours conducive to productivity, adjust accordingly. Lastly, track your progress and make adjustments when necessary. Reflect on how each ritual is impacting your life and make tweaks as required. Maybe a certain activity isn't having the desired effect, or perhaps something new has come up that would be beneficial. In conclusion, personal rituals are powerful tools for enhancing various aspects of our lives. By identifying areas we want to improve upon, starting small with manageable goals, being consistent in their practice, and tailoring them to suit your lifestyle, you can create habits that support success. So go ahead, craft those rituals today, and watch as they transform the way you approach daily life. Thank you for joining me on this journey towards crafting personal rituals for success. All right, everyone, let's dive right into today's topic: healthy eating habits for energy and focus. We all know that what we eat plays a crucial role in how we feel throughout the day. But did you ever stop to think about just how much our diet impacts our ability to concentrate or stay alert? It's more important than you might think. So, let's start with some basics. When it comes to eating for energy and focus, we need to consider foods that are rich in vitamins and minerals, particularly B vitamins, which help boost brain function and reduce fatigue. Foods like leafy greens, nuts, seeds, and whole grains are great sources of these nutrients. Now, another key aspect is hydration. Water helps regulate body temperature and maintain bodily functions, including cognitive performance. Aim for at least 8 glasses a day to stay hydrated and sharp throughout the day. And don't forget about timing your meals properly. Eating every 3 to 4 hours can help stabilize blood sugar levels and keep energy up. Let's talk about protein too, because it's essential for brain function. Protein-rich foods like eggs, fish, chicken, and legumes provide amino acids that are crucial for neurotransmitter production. Neurotransmitters are the chemical messengers in your brain responsible for mood, alertness, and cognitive abilities. So eating enough protein is key to keeping these messengers flowing smoothly. Another important factor is fiber. Fiber slows down digestion and helps maintain steady blood sugar levels over time, which means you won't experience those sudden energy crashes or spikes that can leave you feeling sluggish or jittery. Foods high in fiber include vegetables, fruits, whole grains, and legumes. Lastly, let's touch on caffeine. While coffee and tea are great for a quick boost of energy and focus, moderation is key. Too much caffeine can lead to anxiety, insomnia, or even heart palpitations. So while it's okay to enjoy your morning cuppa, don't go overboard. In conclusion, eating healthy doesn't just make you look good, it makes you feel good too. By incorporating a variety of nutrient-dense foods into your diet and staying hydrated, you can fuel your body for optimal energy and focus throughout the day. Remember, small changes can make a big difference. Today, we're going to talk about something really important for your overall well-being: regular exercise. Now, you might be thinking, why bother? Well, it's not just about looking good or feeling better right now. It's about laying the foundation for long-term health and happiness. First things first, let's understand why exercise is so crucial. When we move our bodies regularly, we're improving everything from cardiovascular health to muscle strength. It also helps us maintain a healthy weight, which is important not just for how you look but for your overall well-being too. Plus, did you know that regular physical activity can boost your energy levels and even help you sleep better? Now, let's get into the specifics of why exercise matters so much. When you work out regularly, your body becomes more efficient at using oxygen, which means your heart doesn't have to work as hard when you're just going about your daily life. It's like giving your ticker a break. Plus, exercise helps manage stress and anxiety by releasing endorphins, those feel-good hormones that make you happy. So, how do we fit regular exercise into our lives? Well, it doesn't have to be intense or complicated. Even small changes can make a big difference. Start with something simple like taking a brisk walk every day, doing some yoga at home, or joining a dance class. The key is consistency and making it enjoyable so you stick with it. Another tip: mix up your routine. Try different types of exercise to keep things interesting and work on all aspects of fitness. For example, combine strength training like lifting weights with cardio exercises such as running or cycling. This variety ensures you're hitting every part of your body for a well-rounded workout. And let's not forget about the mental health benefits of regular exercise. It can improve cognitive function, reduce symptoms of depression and anxiety, and even help prevent dementia in older adults. So it's really a win-win situation. To wrap up, remember that incorporating regular physical activity into your life is one of the best things you can do for your well-being. It doesn't matter if you're starting from scratch or already active, every bit counts. Start small and gradually increase intensity and duration as you feel ready. So let's get moving and reap all those wonderful benefits. Today, we're diving into something that can make all the difference in how sharp and focused you are throughout the day: quality sleep. Have you ever noticed how after a good night's rest, everything just feels easier? Well, there's actually some fascinating science behind why this happens. First off, let's talk about what sleep does for your brain. When you're sleeping, it's not like your mind is resting completely idle. In fact, while you're catching those zeta, your brain is hard at work processing information from the day and consolidating memories. This means that if you don't get enough quality sleep, all those new things you learned during the day might not be stored properly in your memory bank. Another big perk of a good night's sleep: it boosts your attention span. When you wake up feeling refreshed, you're more likely to stay focused on tasks without getting easily distracted. This is especially important for students and professionals who need to concentrate on complex projects or tasks throughout the day. Not only does quality sleep improve memory and focus, but it also plays a role in creative thinking. Ever had those aha moments where an idea just pops into your head? Well, chances are you were dreaming about that problem while you slept. During REM sleep, which stands for rapid eye movement, your brain is active and processing information from all sorts of angles. This can lead to fresh insights or solutions to problems you've been pondering. So how do you ensure you're getting quality sleep? Start by setting a regular bedtime routine. Consistency helps regulate your body's internal clock so that you fall asleep easier each night. Also, avoid screens before bed, as the blue light from phones and computers can disrupt your natural sleep cycle. Lastly, make sure your sleeping environment is comfortable. Cool temperatures are ideal for better sleep quality. And while it might seem tempting to catch up on sleep during weekends, try not to vary your sleep schedule too much, as this can throw off your body's rhythm. In summary, quality sleep isn't just a luxury, it's crucial for optimal cognitive functioning. By prioritizing good sleep habits, you're giving yourself the best chance to perform at your peak mentally each day. That wraps up our discussion on the importance of quality sleep for cognitive functions. Sleep is crucial for our overall well-being, and today, we're going to talk about strategies you can use to improve your sleep routine. First off, let's start with establishing a consistent sleep schedule. Going to bed at the same time every night helps regulate your body's internal clock, making it easier to fall asleep and wake up naturally. Next up is creating a bedtime ritual. This could be as simple as reading a book or taking a warm shower before bed, activities that signal to your brain that it's time to wind down. The key here is consistency. Doing the same thing every night helps train your body for sleep. Now let's talk about your sleeping environment. Your bedroom should be conducive to sleep. Cool, dark, and quiet are ideal conditions. Investing in comfortable bedding can also make a big difference. If you find yourself tossing and turning, it might be time to upgrade those sheets or pillows. Reducing screen time before bed is another important strategy. The blue light emitted from screens like phones and computers can disrupt your sleep cycle by suppressing melatonin production. Try setting aside at least an hour before bedtime where you're not looking at any digital screens. Staying active during the day can also help improve your nighttime sleep quality. Exercise boosts your metabolism, making it easier to fall asleep faster and stay asleep longer. However, remember to avoid intense workouts close to bedtime since they might keep you wired for a bit longer. Finally, managing stress is crucial for better sleep. Techniques such as meditation or deep breathing exercises can help calm the mind and prepare your body for restful sleep. Writing down worries before bed can also be helpful, giving you a sense of closure and reducing anxiety. In conclusion, improving your sleep routine involves creating consistency in when you go to bed, establishing relaxing bedtime rituals, ensuring a comfortable sleeping environment, limiting screen time before bed, staying active during the day, and managing stress levels. By incorporating these strategies into your daily life, you'll likely find yourself sleeping better and feeling more refreshed each morning. Today, we're diving into meditation techniques that can really help you achieve calm focus. Meditation isn't just about sitting quietly, it's about training your mind to be more present and less distracted by thoughts or external noise. So let's break down some key methods. First up is the breath-focused meditation, where you simply concentrate on your breathing. Sit comfortably with your back straight but relaxed, close your eyes gently, and breathe naturally. Focus solely on the sensation of air entering and leaving your nostrils or lungs expanding and contracting. When your mind wanders, gently bring it back to your breath. Next is mantra meditation. This involves repeating a word or phrase silently in your head while meditating. The repetition can help drown out distracting thoughts and foster a deeper sense of calmness. Choose any word you like. Often people use peace or calm. Just let the sound reverberate quietly inside your mind. Then there's visualization meditation, where you imagine serene scenes or experiences to guide relaxation. Picture yourself in a peaceful place, like a quiet beach or a tranquil forest glade. Focus on the sensory details. What do you see, hear, smell? Engaging all senses can enhance focus and reduce anxiety. Another technique is body scan meditation. Starting from your toes up to your head, mentally scan each part of your body for tension or discomfort. As you notice these areas, take deep breaths into them, allowing the muscles to relax. This helps bring awareness to physical sensations and promotes relaxation. Lastly, try walking meditation. Instead of sitting still, walk slowly around a room or outdoors, paying attention to each step and the feeling in your feet as they touch the ground. Notice how your body moves with each breath, grounding you fully in the present moment. Remember, these techniques aren't one size fits all. You might find some work better than others for achieving calm focus. Experiment a bit and see what feels most effective for you. All right, everyone. Today we're diving into an exciting topic, using awareness to cultivate positive habits. So let's get started. First off, what does it mean to be aware? Well, being aware means paying attention to your thoughts and actions in the present moment. It's like tuning into yourself, noticing how you feel, what you're thinking about, even what your body is doing right now. Now here's where things get interesting. When we increase our awareness, we can start making better choices for ourselves. For instance, if you're trying to eat healthier but keep reaching for that bag of chips out of habit, becoming aware might mean pausing and asking yourself, am I really hungry? Or am I just bored? Let's take another example, exercise. Imagine you want to get into a regular workout routine. If you notice that you tend to skip workouts because you're tired or busy, awareness can help you see these patterns and decide what needs to change. So how do we actually cultivate this awareness? One powerful tool is mindfulness meditation. By spending just a few minutes each day focusing on your breath and observing your thoughts without judgment, you train yourself to be more present and aware throughout the rest of your day. Another great way is through journaling. Writing down your daily habits can help you see trends and patterns that might not be obvious otherwise. It's like getting an insider view into your own behavior. And let's talk about setting small goals. When you break big changes into tiny steps, it becomes much easier to stay aware of them and stick with them. For example, instead of saying I want to exercise every day, start by aiming for just 5 minutes a day. Remember, awareness is not about being perfect or judging yourself harshly. It's about noticing what you're doing and choosing new habits that serve your goals better. Over time, these small choices add up to big changes. So there you have it, awareness as the key ingredient in cultivating positive habits. By paying attention to your thoughts and actions, you can make more intentional choices that lead to healthier, happier living. Thank you for joining me today. I hope this gives you some new insights into how you can use awareness to improve your daily habits. Thank you all for joining me on this journey through the intricacies of habit formation and transformation. Over these past weeks, we've explored how understanding the basics of habits can lead to significant changes in our lives. We delved into cognitive and behavioral psychology, uncovering how our thoughts and behaviors shape our daily routines. The neuroscience behind habit creation revealed fascinating insights into neural pathways and dopamine release, shedding light on why certain activities feel rewarding. We also examined the role of environment in shaping habits, learning strategies to set up physical spaces conducive to success and leveraging social support networks for motivation. Developing good habits became more accessible through SMART goals and incremental progress towards larger objectives. Overcoming challenges in changing habits required us to acknowledge common pitfalls and adopt long-term motivation techniques. The power of routine and rituals emerged as crucial elements in building effective daily practices, while nutrition and exercise played a pivotal role in forming healthy habits for energy and well-being. We also discovered the importance of quality sleep for cognitive functioning and strategies to improve our sleep routines. Lastly, mindfulness practices like meditation were highlighted as essential tools for cultivating positive habits and achieving focus. Remember, the most important takeaway is that by understanding these principles and applying them consistently, you can transform your life. Start small, make gradual changes, and be patient with yourself. Keep reinforcing those good habits and don't hesitate to seek support from friends or community groups when needed. I encourage each of you to reflect on what resonated most with you throughout the course and begin implementing these strategies in your daily routine. With persistence and dedication, you can achieve lifelong success through the power of positive habit formation. As we conclude this journey together, I wish you all the best in your future endeavors. Remember that change is possible, and with every small step forward, you're making progress towards achieving your goals. If you'd like to stay connected or share feedback about the course, please feel free to reach out to me directly or leave a review to help others embark on their own journey of habit transformation. Thank you once again for being part of this community and for committing to change.